Okay, good early evening from sunny Michigan in the USA in South Haven. Thank you for attending, everybody. My name is Som Jandu. I'm the president of the College of Practical Homeopathy, CPH for short, and with me is the founder, Ellen Kramer. She's in the background as well. So we're going to walk you through a few slides, and we hope that you can ask us some really interesting questions and make this a very interactive session. So firstly, what is homeopathy? What makes you be interested in this, and why now? What we're seeing of the last decade and two is a huge rise in natural medicine, alternative medicine, holistic medicine. People want natural treatments that treat the root cause of things and not just treat symptoms. We lose count of every day people say to us, I've taken this for 10 years, 20 years, just to keep my symptoms at bay. But if I stop, they return or they get worse. Or I have a condition that's progressing and getting worse year by year. So people want to actually get to the root cause where they no longer have to take medications or treatments. That's what homeopathy helps do. This was even more evident in the post-pandemic world. People we're learning have lost trust in the big companies who we used to have faith in to look after us with medications because vaccines were rushed. We didn't know if they worked. It made us question everything for the last century or two. People also want medicine around the world that's affordable and accessible and safe. And the beauty of homeopathy is it's a standalone system of medicine. It's been around for around 250 years. It's the second largest system of medicine in the world. And it can complement every other healing system, including drugs, acupuncture, and everything else. What that does for you, it empowers people like you and people you want to help to take control of your own well-being and not have someone else take charge of your health. So it puts the power back to you to manage your health. This is a chart we share. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up, okay? There are various healing arts in the world, and every art has its tools, and every art has a different mode of action. So if we start at the bottom with the blue healing arts, they use hands movement. They're very physical. They have to touch you, move you, and manipulate you to help you heal, realign, and get better. Then we have the second class of healing arts. And you might recognize some of these. Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, they're 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7,000 years old. Herbalism, even older, ever since the earth has been in existence. And allopathy, drugs. However, every one of these require things that need to be ingested, digested, and assimilated. Therefore, you can treat them and thinking of them the same, that they act chemically. It's something in the body that has to be processed and then activated and then has an effect. That's great. However, sometimes if you're taking one form of a chemical, like a herb, and you mix it with another chemical, like a drug, it could have an interaction. So doctors are correct in saying use with caution if you're on other things, or do not use, because no one knows how these things interact. But if you're using one system, try not to confuse it with another one, and then you're going to be absolutely fine in the chemical sphere. After all, they've been around for thousands of years. Then we move up to the really exciting fields of energy, the energetic fields of healing, sorry. Now we know all of these: reflexology, aromatherapy, Reiki, craniosacral, acupuncture, and then homeopathy. These are tools, but they use energy to realign the energy of the body. That's the fundamental difference, which is why all of these in the yellow can complement every single thing else below it. They can also complement one another, and they do not confuse one another. Think of them like radio stations or TV stations. They can all transmit, and one doesn't knock out or interfere with another channel. You simply tune in. And that's the beauty of working with energy medicine. It's fast, it's effective, it's safe, it's complementary. Okay, so homeopathy is a natural system of healing. It's holistic. It is over 200 years old. And the beauty of it is the principle homeopathy. Homeo meaning same. Pathy from pathos meaning disease, state in the body. So it has the same disease state. What that means to us in everyday English is the principle is like cures like. And if we look at this lovely picture, we can see That just as a tuning fork can tune a piano and medical instruments, musical instruments, just using vibration, our body has vibrational energy within it that can be retuned and realigned. And that is a principle of homeopathy. So to tune on an energetic level, what we have to do is not use a physical level. That means the energy of physical matter is captured, but the physical matter is taken out. Therefore, there is no physical interaction. And that renders homeopathy very safe, very effective. And the beauty of it is, just like a radio station, where every station has a different frequency and it's very precise. If you tune out that frequency by zero point 0.1 hertz, you're going to get a different station. That is how precise these remedies are, and they're individualized for you. So we don't say, like we do in the modern world, I have a headache, you have a headache, take an aspirin. If I have a headache caused by something else and you have a headache caused by something else, we're treating the cause, we could have two totally different remedies. So that's what makes this a wonderful system. It's very, very personalized and tailored for you. So that's homeopathy in general. How do remedies work? We just said earlier, they tune the body back to balance. They give a nudge to our vital force. Many of you are familiar with this. You may even do some yoga. You may be familiar with prana, which is the breathing, which puts energy in. You may be familiar with chi or ki energy and balancing. There's different words, it's the same thing. There's an energy system in the body, just as there's a circulatory system and a nervous system and a cardiovascular system, etc. Okay? And a musculoskeletal system. It's a system that keeps everything aligned. It's the power that keeps the body in the physical matter state being well. The beauty of remedies, they stimulate healing on a physical, emotional, and energetic level. If that sounds a bit weird, when we're not well, we talk to each other and we say, I don't feel myself today. And people say, hey, Som, you look just like Som did yesterday. So my matter looks the same, but I say, I don't feel well. I don't feel right. That means my vibration is off. And even if I say, what's the matter? It's telling me that your matter, your physical matter, is vibrating off. So it all comes down to energy. Homeopathy is safe, it's gentle, it does not have side effects. And it can be used as a standalone and alongside conventional medicine, suitable for all ages. This is also important because many of us know if we're having children of childbearing age or if we're nursing young children, many medicines will say do not use in pregnant or nursing mothers. So that renders the drug approach ineffective or toxic or dangerous or worrying. With homeopathy, there are none of these things. So that's about homeopathy in general. Now, let me tell you a little bit about us as a college, and we're hoping then you can talk to us about anything you want regarding homeopathy or the college, and we can share. We have a mission. It's why we exist. We are the global leader, and it's to stay that way in homeopathic education. The word practical is very important here. We teach you theory, but as soon as you learn the theory, we say put it into practice. Don't just sit there talking the talk, walk the walk. Treat friends, family. If you want a business, take some clients. That's how you learn. You learn by doing. Our mission is also to make it effective, affordable, and efficient. What is our vision? To have a CPH homeopath in every country to help people. We're getting there rapidly, thanks to people like you who understand what we're trying to do. What are our values? We share our learnings as we learn to keep homeopathy progressing towards the future. We only look backwards to see how far we've come. We're practical, we're progressive, and we're holistic, which is why Ellen and I are here in South Haven in Michigan. We're doing 3 wonderful, intense days of teaching and learning and sharing with our students and our graduates. And what we're talking about is over and above and beyond the course. This means that even our students and even our graduates, even after they've paid and qualified, they can still get the benefit of learning with us, from us, and sharing with us. No other college in the world does this. Once you qualify, you're out. So here, when people enroll with us, we don't tell them it's a course fee. We say it's an entry fee because once you're in, you're in. And you're welcome to learn and share for as long as you live. What makes us unique? We are the only college in the world that focuses on case analysis to determine a cause. We don't just look at symptoms. That's what drug people do and the doctors do. Tell me your symptoms. Symptoms come from somewhere. So we look at the origin, the cause. And what we also do, we empower our students to start taking cases from level one, the very first level. You do not have to be halfway graduated to start, because then you're not practicing anything. It's just all theory. Once you're clear what needs curing, we teach you the right methods. That gives you security, it gives you a framework, it gives you structure. That will boost your confidence, your competence, and your results. This also makes you adaptable to any situation. If all you have is one method, that's like trying to build a house with a hammer. It's not going to work. We don't require you to memorize remedies. That's what books are for. Do what books cannot do, which is think, talk to humans, connect with humans, and understand. As far as I learned, no book can ever understand a human yet. We teach you to be independent, free thinkers. We don't do dogma. We don't do hero worship. We don't even tell you if we're good or great. Our only purpose is to enable you to become great, and that's how we keep homeopathy progressing. This is what we teach all our students, and we're happy to share it with you here. We call it at CPH the three T's of disease. And this is a sure way to determine causation. As it says on the left, etiology before symptomology. Symptoms don't just appear randomly. There is nothing random in the human body. It's a very important lesson to learn. So we teach always aim to discover the cause. However, our patients come with their symptoms. They're not taught this way, but we are. So how do they present with their symptoms? Sometimes they come with trauma, accidents, injuries, current or long-standing, or birth trauma during the birth process, or when mom or dad and the baby was in gestation had trauma. The baby downloads this information by way of blood, hormones, feelings, neurons in the amniotic fluid and the placenta. So we understand right from pre-birth the development of the human being. The other T that they can present is with toxicity, environmental, medications, recreationals, diet, occupational. You get it now. Everywhere we read, people are getting more and more toxic. So sometimes the toxicity alone can cause illnesses, diseases, organ malfunction, body dysfunction. If it isn't a trauma and it isn't a toxicity, then it absolutely will be a thought. There's nothing random in the human body. And that could be chronic stress, burnout, fast-paced living, mental or emotional things that we've never dealt with, that we've suppressed, repressed, or kept under covers and not even discussed. Grief, shock, betrayal, disappointments, being let down. The mind suffers and the body cries out. So this is how we teach our students to look. And even if you don't enroll with us today, go home and start talking to one another this way. Start using this language. Which of the three T's is bothering you today? And it will give you great insights into understanding your friends, your colleagues, and your clients. This is adapted from the Chinese five elements, an ancient 5,000-year-old tool that the Chinese have used with great precision for over 5,000 years, and they never did post-mortems and autopsies. So they understood the body exceptionally well. We'll take an example on the left-hand side. We have a liver, which has a time. We have a gallbladder, which has a time. These are called yin and yang organs. They work synergistically together and they complement each other. Together, they govern the tendons and the joints and they open through the eyes. They are linked to an emotion of anger. So if anything is not right with my liver, my gallbladder, my tendons, my joints, or my eyes, it could make me more angry. Also, if I am more angry and I don't deal with my anger, it will manifest in my eyes, my joints, my tendons, my gallbladder, or my liver. So if someone comes to us with gallbladder issues and we've eliminated the two T's of trauma and toxicity, and we know it's a thought, we might say, right, tell me about the things in your life that are making you really, really angry. Sometimes people come and tear a muscle, or they sprain a ligament or strain a ligament or a tendon, and they say, I was so angry I could have snapped. I went running and I pulled my Achilles. We say, well, it was your anger that did it. It's not your Achilles. You snapped your tendons. So they understand that everything in the body is linked. Why do we teach it this way? Because the human body is born from one cell, which divides into a whole human being. So there is no separation. You don't need to be a cardiologist or a neurologist or an endocrinologist because the entirety of the human body came from one cell, which knows how to make every other single cell. So if it knows that, the only thing that's broken down is the communication system. And the communication system is the language of energy. So now we start to see just how important homeopathy is. It goes in, talks the energy, which is the language of the body, and tells the body, you got this. Remember, you know how to fix yourself. And it says, okay, and it realigns. It literally is as simple as that. So when we put it together and teach here at CPH, we call it CEO and the CPH way. CEO stands for cause, effects, and obstacles to cure. People come to us with effects. My elbow's missing. I have a headache. I have a stomach upset. We have to determine what has caused this. If there are obstacles to cure, if I'm taking pharmaceutical drugs and having side effects, if I'm working in a toxic environment, if I have a missing organ, that could be preventing me performing as a whole human, what we would call holistically. So, what we say here is remove any obstacles, look at the effects, and determine the cause. That's it. It couldn't get any easier. No other college in the world looks at this way. What they do, and if you those of you who are homeopaths, you'll say we look at the symptom similarity of all the effects because that's what we read. Symptom similarity. I don't want similar symptoms. I want the causation that's similar. And once I list all your causations, it will guide me to treat you at your root cause. And once I treat your root cause, my remedy may not even correlate to the symptom you have because that is the manifestation of the cause. Treat the cause, the symptom will look after itself and disappear. It literally is as simple as that. So that's what we do here. And what we say here is disease is the dialogue of the body, symptoms are the signs. Are we listening to these or are we suppressing them? We teach our homeopaths to listen. Don't treat the symptoms and tell the symptoms to be quiet and suppress them. Say, I hear you. You're telling me to look elsewhere. What is the elsewhere? It's the five elements that we covered that helps us understand to give me an idea of the kind of questions I need to ask to uncover the journey your body has gone to take you from wellness to illness. So we also teach here we don't get rid of illness. We find out where wellness went away and try and restore the situations to allow well-being to flow back into the body. Once we understand that, we have a very easy flow chart to help people understand the various methods that we teach. That alone gives us a lot of security that however my person comes to me, I have a method to help them get on their journey back to health. This is one of the main reasons why many, many people all around the world come to CPH to study. Even if they do not want to be a practitioner, what we hear is, I want to treat my family with the best knowledge I can get in the most confident and competent way. So I need more than just a remedy. I need to understand. I need a framework and a flow that helps them get better. And this is what we teach, a framework and a flow and a structure. That gives you confidence. It means your success rate increases. So, how do we do it? We teach homeopathy. We support that with understanding nutrition and herbs and supplements and tissue salts. They nourish the cells at a cellular level. We understand and teach the bowel nosodes, gut flora. This is a big thing in the last 20, 30 years. Homeopaths have known it ever since homeopaths have been homeopaths. Flower essences, the energy of certain flower essences can be very healing and gentle at a mental and emotional sphere. Meditative provings and mindset. Mindset's very important, ladies and gentlemen, because we say at CPH, you don't just go through the course here, you grow through it. We've got to the point where Ellen and I will have discussions say, this is a course in personal growth and development, and you pick up a professional qualification in homeopathy as a result. Because every method you do will teach you to go deep inside your own journey as a human, as a parent, spouse, sibling, and understand those around you and understand what made you the way you are, how you are, and who you are, and how you interact. Because once you know who you are to take you into a consultation with your friends and family. Very important. Why choose us rather than anybody else? Because you'll become part of a global community. We're in many countries around the world. So wherever you go or travel, you're never short of a CPH colleague who thinks like you, can talk like you, work like you, and support you. That gives a lot of security anywhere in the world. We're a global community these days. We are not isolated. We have the largest presence in the USA. We have a greater presence than all the other colleges that teach homeopathy in the USA combined, and it's growing every day. So there's always a homeopath near you. We still have currently 170 active students, never mind the people who have graduated and practicing very successfully. Thousands of patients have been treated here, and we have live teaching events such as the one we're about to start tomorrow for 3 days in the USA. We do that every few months because if you cannot come to London, we bring us to you to enrich and develop your learning further. If those of you are interested in studying with us, how do you become a licensed homeopath with us? There is no start date because you start when you're ready, you download your reading materials, and you begin. Everybody is assigned a personal tutor to guide you on your individual journey. The course is what we all do together, but your interactions with your tutor is how your personal journey evolves and develops. There are no exams. So for those of us who are a little bit older who get exam stress, we don't do them. We don't want you stressing, but rather you complete cases where you have the mind, the presence of mind, and the time to think, consider, and have real results. This is not a theory test. We have clinics, tutorials, webinars, audios, and videos, and many, many ways to support you on your journey. So you're never alone wherever in the world you are. Literally 24 hours a day. What's the benefit of a global community? If in the USA now we go to sleep in a few hours, somewhere in the Eastern and Western Hemisphere is awake. So if my colleagues in my own country are asleep and cannot help me in an emergency, I have a family of CPH people around the world who can help me. Why? Because in an emergency situation or when it's our loved ones, we cannot always remain objective. So someone who's done the training as me will say, Som, you need to do this, you need to give this. That gives me a whole lot of security right there. There are two ways. One is a professional course if you've never studied any healing art before. It's a degree level course. It's over 3 stages and levels, and there are 10 modules per stage. So there are 30 modules in total, certificate level and your diploma level and your license level, which gives you a professional license to treat people. If you did a module a month, you can qualify in as quickly as 30 months, which is 2.5 years. We do have people graduating quicker. If you're an existing healthcare professional or even a doctor, a nurse, or a pharmacist, you may be eligible for the master's level. It's a 12 module. Why? Because we don't require you to redo all the anatomy and physiology and pathology that helps you understand the human body. So you just get on with it in depth, case after case after case. You learn by doing. Both qualifications give you the licentiate and the letters LCPH after your name. It's respected around the world. It's valued around the world. It lets people know you've had some of the best training in the world. What we've learnt over the last decade, the split of our students. We have more postgrads studying with us than people who've never studied. What that tells us is even people who are qualified in all the other healing arts and other homeopaths come to us to take their knowledge to another level. That is the best endorsement we have, that our learning methods, our teaching methods, the structure, the content, and the capabilities are second to none. So it's not us telling you, it's you and your colleagues who graduate with us telling us. And we're very proud and we're humbled by that at the same time. How do we learn? We read here, but we do a lot of online. So there's active learning, discussion groups, tutorials, webinars is where we put it into practice. We don't just want you to be academically intellectual here. We want you to be practically proficient here. That's it. So hopefully you found that useful. I will keep the slides in the background. Please, I hope you have questions for myself or Ellen. Please do switch on your videos if you can, if you want to, and your microphones. Ask us any questions. Ellen, are you with us? And
Yes,
if you
I'm
don't
here.
want to ask us questions, you can text it on the little text box below. I'll try and answer the questions there. And Ellen, maybe you can answer them because they probably had enough of hearing my voice continuously. Someone's asked here, how is a case typically opened? What percent of time would you say detox is utilized, or is the focus more nutritional, mineral, adrenal supporting in conjunction with protocols or remedies? Would you like to answer that, Ellen?
Okay, I'd say how long is a piece of string? And it depends. It depends on your case. And this is why we teach you case taking and case analysis. Protocols, we don't teach protocols. We teach you to analyze the case and find out the cause so you have the right tools for your patient. Your patient is going to be your greatest teacher. So if we give you protocols, you stop thinking for yourself. We want you to think for yourself because you know exactly what's going on with your patient. I don't know whether I've answered that question or I've just added to your, oh my God, I don't know. But we take you through the training right from the get-go. So if you're doing the postgraduate, you start case taking on your in your second module. And if you're in the undergraduate, you start case taking your third module.
Uh,
And that's how you grow and learn how to analyze cases and use the methods. Now, the methods are just guides as to how you're going to approach your case. But in order to use those guides, you need to analyze the case and find out why that person is sick in the first place. So we don't chase symptoms or give you protocols to fix those symptoms. We ask you to listen to your patient's story and find out where those symptoms came from. Because if you can get to the cause, you're supporting the body to come out of trauma so it can balance itself. So that's back to Som's tuning fork. Okay. The remedies are used to retune the body to do what the body was designed to do in the first place, which is heal itself. That's what the body was designed to do. It's an amazing organic system. It's energetic. And when you remove any obstacles that are in the way from it doing its job properly, you take it back to the cause, you will start to see a difference. It is life-changing for patients. Things that they've given up on, thought that that was normal. We're going to teach you how to bring balance. If wellness went away, then we can support the body back into wellness and balance. Son, would you like to add anything to that?
I would if I may. Yes. I just now I tell you why, because let me answer this in a slightly different way to add to what Ellen said. This is the yin and yang. You've got male and female energy here. So we will bring a male and female perspective, which is very useful. Predominantly homeopathy is female studied and female led, but you need the male energy to balance your thinking and a perspective as well. Otherwise, everybody loses perspective. So I'm going to answer it literally. How is a case typically opened? One, there is no typical. Secondly, we're not opening because it's not a legal case. We take a case with a case taking template that we provide you. That gives you structure and a format and a process which will give you greatest insights you've ever had into your client. And what I can tell you this, your client, or depending on the country you're in, your patients will say, no one's ever taken this interest in my life or my life story or my journey. The homeopaths call that a timeline. Everybody else in the real world says, what's your life story? When you understand someone's life story, you understand the journey they've been on that got them to be who they are when they sit in front of you. So how do we open it? We don't know. What we do know is their timeline and their life story will tell us. Then the second part of this question they asked here was, what percentage of time would you say detox is utilized? Antibiotic, contraceptive, glandular fever, etc. What percentage? Again, as Ellen said, it depends. If they're on drugs, we need to detox the side effects of the drugs right away. If they were on drugs and they had a detrimental effect, we need to do a drug detox for that. If they were injured, had vaccine damage, or if they had an organ removed, the body is not whole.
Hello, I think we disappeared. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me? Okay, just let Som know we're back. Okay, let's finish off what Som was saying. Yeah, yeah, you lost us. We're now it's to do with we're in a hotel, and unfortunately we are reliant on their internet. So I'm back. I don't know whether Som is back or not. I'll let him come back and finish where he is, but I'm going to go to Mary, who says, "What method of homeopathy is taught at your course? Is it classical or something else? I know practical is the name. Practical in the name of the training is that we show you how to case analyze and use different methods. So when you're on our training, you're going to learn about 15 different ways of applying homeopathy. Classical homeopathy is just one way of applying homeopathy. It's one methodology which was designed for 19th century patients. These are people who are So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so these are people who, let's see if I still stay on. So as I was saying, classical is one methodology. So when people say that they're classical homeopaths, what they're telling you is they apply homeopathy to 19th century constitutions. They're not looking at modern patients who may come to you with 5 or 6 different drugs. They might not be eating well. They may have had trauma. They may have multiple traumas. You're not equipped to dealing with all of that if you've only learned one methodology. So it's a bit like being a builder and arriving at your workplace with one tool called a hammer to hit nails in. But you may need to use a screwdriver. You may need to use other tools. So we're teaching you lots of different tools.
Sorry, Ellen, I don't know what happened to my connection there. What did I miss? Did I miss some fun with
Well, I
everybody?
moved I moved us down into somebody asking us about what methods in homeopathy is taught at your course. Is it classical or something else? I know practical is in the name, and I was just explaining that we get you to practice what we teach. We teach you different methodologies, different ways of applying homeopathy that will help you with 21st century clients or patients, depending on where you're at.
So what was the question?
What method of homeopathy is taught in your course? Is it classical or something else?
Okay, can I answer that in
Yes,
one
you can add
sentence?
to it.
Most of them. What methods do we teach? We teach 16 methods that we found to be the most effective in the world, quite simply. 16, of which one method is classical. Now, I had my very first piano lesson some months ago, and I learned the letters of music, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I think. That's where it stops, right? And with them notes, you can make a myriad of tunes, classical tunes, pop, rock, jazz. And then I must have listened to 3 hours of music, eclectic music, as we drove to get here to Michigan today. If you only learn classical method, that's like learning the letter A. You can't make much music with that. The melody of the human body is so vast that you need more than one method. If you have a hammer, you cannot house. So when people say I'm a classical homeopath, good, you've learnt something. We appreciate that. But then you need more than just that for the modern patient. Why? Because 250 years ago, there was no electricity, there was no gasoline, there were no aeroplanes, there was no Wi-Fi, there's no GM food. So then we could take a simple remedy, like a 30C of one remedy, and it worked. But just like our phones and just like my Wi-Fi now, we live in an age where everything has to be reset every day or multiple times a day because the insult to us by virtue of our food, our environments, is constant and continuous. So giving one remedy back in a month is one pill. Doesn't take a remedy every day. You wake up every day, you reset every day. The insult, the attacks, the food, the environment is there every day. We came from Chicago to Michigan, and we saw smoke and ash in the sky from Canada. People are saying we don't want to eat the grapes and the fruits in the stores because we don't know if they've been contaminated. So imagine that. People did not have these worries 200 years ago. So we can't use an ancient system for modern patients. That's our answer. We can understand it, but if I go to India, Africa, Australia, where they're living off the land and there are no pollutants, I can use that method. So that method is as useful as the letter A in musical notes. But you need other methods to understand the harmony of the body. Hopefully that answers it in a slightly different way. Please ask us more questions. I've lost the questions on my chat logging back in, but please do keep them coming and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. Are there any more coming? I can see no questions on my side here, Ellen. So I'm hoping people can keep asking away. Did I sufficiently answer the one that was previous about the How do you
You're
detox?
halfway
When do you
through it.
detox? Okay, so when do you detox? Depending on when they've had something. We talked about people celebrating, getting drunk, and doing that. So if a woman has had the pill and had a baby, that pill, that suppression of the pill for the monthly cycle, has gone into her chromosomes, which have gone into the baby that she's created, and the baby grows by multiplying cell multiplication. So when you multiply, you amplify that very effect in that child, which is why through history in the last 50, 60 years, children are having their menses earlier and earlier, the bleeds are coming earlier, the stresses of life, such as PMS and menopausal pain. You go into other parts of the world, women do not suffer period pain. Women go through the menopause and flyby. They do not have a hot flash. That is normal. Having pains and menopause effects is not normal. It's not normal. So that's how abnormal society has become. So the treatment has to be more sophisticated than one method. And if the method doesn't consider a detox, what are we doing? So a lot of people say, I start a case with this, I clear it with that, I end it with that. We don't start and clear. We use the methods to guide us to what we should do. That gives structure, it gives consistency, and gives great results. That's what we teach. There is no what we call here remedy chasing. Someone says, I opened that with sulfur. I used chelidonium. I don't care what you used. What's your favorite remedy? All of them. Why? It depends which one helps the client. So every tune, every frequency depends on what the frequency of the person is vibrating that is off. We will say here, your vital force has gone off course. Put it on track and the healing will come back. We also say here, the remedy is just the name from where the vibration came. We succuss, we take out the physical matter, the water holds the memory of that, just like in the sky holds the radiation for the frequencies for the TV channels and the radio stations. Once that's released, it then permeates through our entire being and realigns everything from a cellular to an organ to the whole human. That's how it can realign you. Hopefully that just ends that question. Please ask us a few more. We love doing this. We like to give you stuff that you can think, wow, this makes me think differently. Other people don't think like this. Of course they don't. So, but you do here. And when you can think differently, you can treat differently. And when you treat differently, you'll have results that you might determine and call miraculous. And then you'll tell us. So please ask us some more. Is there any more in the chat group?
Yes, some. Danielle
Yeah,
says, we mentioned discussion groups, etc., the active part of the learning on the bottom
yes.
half of the triangle. How are those done? Through live online classes or through the case studies?
But that one's just come up. Okay, good. Through all of them. They're done through live online cases. We have twice a month a specific group just for North America, and once a month for the whole world to submit cases, go online and share. And Ellen and I will dissect the case and walk through. Because if you're new, we expect you to take a case. But if you're new, we don't expect you yet to have the expertise to analyze it. So when we analyze it together, or you watch someone else's case being analyzed, you go, aha, I should have asked that. I need to look at that. I need to ignore that. And this is where I need to focus. That is how your expertise grows. So I'm reading an active part. How are these done? That's how they're done
Yeah.
through live or online, both, which is why we are here in the USA. Just before I go further, I think it flashed up and disappeared. They go, when do you go? Where do you teach in the USA? We do I don't want to call it a roadshow. We call them meet and teach events. And we have anywhere between 30 to 50, 60 people attending. And we do this every couple of months and we choose different states to allow people in North America, including Canada and Mexico, to turn up to different states where they're accessible and benefit from that learning. And we always have case taken in one of the days. We also prove remedies if you're interested in that. That's fascinating. It opens your mind. We talk in depth about the methods, which gives you confidence and competence in an open in a safe, constructive environment. And you get some expertise. I use that term loosely. Let me rephrase that. And you get the benefit of the experience that Ellen and I bring to the table. It may not be expertise, but we have some experience. We get results. And when we share that with you, you get results. You feed that back to us, and our expertise grows. So it's a very nice virtuous circle. That's how it works. How is this done when we have different start times and tones? How is it done? Well, one, we do this and we record them. So even if you miss the live session, you log in on Zoom and benefit from everybody else. and we try and stagger times, which is why we're in the USA and USA time. We do things in UK time. So we will adjust and flex to make sure all of our students benefit and nobody misses out. And we enjoy that because every country, every state brings its own mindset, experiences, food stuff, habits. These make up the people. And I'll give you another case with that. We learned there are certain states in America, we've just come from Illinois, and a few other states, very high radon toxicity in the soil. Other states have basements where they have clay. Clay absorbs radon. When it rains, the clay gets waterlogged. It releases the radon. So we're learning that people have radon monitors in their basements for the toxicity doesn't go over a certain level. We can easily deal with that and stop that exposure affecting humans. So every time we travel, we learn something new. And classical homeopaths that were trained 200 years ago wouldn't even understand this language. Nobody had radon meters 200 years ago. Nobody had an aircraft. They hardly had a horse and cart. Nobody had ships or aeroplanes. So the countries and cultures, which is also why if you read a classical text and it says calc carb is fat, fair, flabby, in this day and age, that's quite an insulting way to describe somebody. But also, the world isn't fat, fair, flabby. Ever since World War II, people travel around the world. The great USA is a melting pot of every country. You cannot fit a person into a classically described materia medica remedy anymore because we come from a variety of backgrounds. Do your own heritage. I talk to Americans, they say, well, I'm a quarter Puerto Rican, I'm an eighth Irish, some German, etc., etc. You get the picture. So even reading your classical books, they do not help you. Forget the books, look at the human in front of you, go on their journey with them. But I'll tell you one thing that doesn't change about humans, even though our races might mix and we have mixed race people, human beings have been human beings ever since human beings have been human beings. Our anatomy, our biochemistry, our physiology, our energy does not change. My skin has changed in 4 days here. I've got a tan. So forget the outside, it's the inside. And that cellular structure that makes anyone of any race procreate with anyone of any race. That's the magic that we unleash. Does that make sense? And that's what we tap into. So these books that give me the descriptors, they don't mean anything. They're so outdated. Stick them in the archives and let them gather dust. Let's deal with modern patients. Hope that makes sense. How many hours per week is an average student studying or learning? It depends on your pace of learning. We say average between 4 to 6 to 8. The average is 5 a week. So even people, we've had people, Ellen, we have a lady, we won't mention names, homeschooling 10 children. We have many American women here homeschooling. They find ways to fit in a couple of hours a day. Often when the kids are in bed, or if their hubby's looking after kids, they get an hour or two. It's not exhaustive. Why? We're not making you bookworms. Be thinkworms. Think. Read a concept, apply it, discuss it. That's the real learning. Just to purge stuff you read, it impresses no one. You want to impress people, treat a human, watch their diseases disappear, watch their health restore, watch them have a spring in their step, and then sit back and think, right, this stuff works. Do we offer virtual tickets for meetings or seminars? Yes, not tickets. We do Zoom meetings. We invite people. We do both specific, tailored, closed meetings for our students. That's their privilege of studying. We also do open global webinars for general stuff, for general healthcare, general knowledge, and well-being as well. So tune in, sign up for our webinars to be notified for that. Hopefully that answers that question as well. Ellen, anything to add to that while we wait for a few more questions?
No, no, I've got nothing more to add to that.
Okay. People engage with us. Tell us if you understanding what we're saying, if you want to challenge us or talk about a concept further, please just write it down. We are here to share with you what we know, to learn from you what we don't. Test us, put us on the spot, give us a concept, let's talk it through, and you see how we do it for real. If you feel like it. Or you can email us after. I will share my email again if it doesn't block me out of Wi-Fi again, okay? I'll share my little screen. Hopefully you can see this. And I'll be more than happy to take any question. It's som@thecph.co.uk. Very simple email. If you don't have that, you'll have a Zoom link from admin. You contact admin at the CPH. If you want to talk to Ellen directly, ELLEN at thecph.co.uk. We really would welcome your questions, comments, and if you want to join us, we'd more than welcome you. We've got a few more questions coming up here. Thank you, helpful. Do you have online group chats for students? Yes, we do. We have a North American forum. We have a global, that's on Signal. We have a global forum on WhatsApp. The global forum, if you've got a husband, a child, a partner, a parent, and you're in a panic, and your country's asleep and it's nighttime, someone in the world will be online to guide you. I cannot overestimate or overstate the value of that global forum. When you're in quagmire and your head's in panic mode and you're a mom or a wife and you're thinking and worrying, you need someone else with the same presence of mind who's been trained exactly like you to say, listen, this is what you need to do and you get on and do it. Boom. There's a lot of confidence, a lot of reassurance, but it also means when you travel and you need a remedy, you're never far from someone who can help you out. We've been amazed by this community of homeopaths at CPH, talking to each other, sending remedies from country to country, to state. We never knew it would be that great when we created it. So we stand and we get amazed at the wonderful people like you who help each other. Okay? So that's that one. Have you ever treated anyone with cancer? We have many, many hundreds, in fact, people with cancer come to us seeking homeopathy to help them on their journey. If you're specifically interested, pick it up personally, send an email. Okay? I know in the USA, there's only certain things we can say. So, do people with cancer seek homeopathy? They seek all the healing arts. Because if you have a diagnosis like that, you might want all the help you can get. Sometimes doctors will say there's nothing more we can do. Sometimes you want to enhance that. That reminds me of the first question. Someone said, what about supplements and nutrition and herbs? How do you treat that? Or where does that factor in how you treat someone? Let me say it simply to you, people. The remedies are the recipe. They tell the body how to help itself get better. The supplements and herbs and nutrition are the ingredients. A recipe without ingredients, you cannot make it. Ingredients without a recipe, the body does not know how to make it. What do I mean by that? People say, Som, I eat my greens, I do my yoga, I get my matcha tea, I'm having my smoothies, all the rest of the good stuff. Why am I still unwell? Because something up here is stopping something in your digestive system. Sometimes we take a medicine, we don't have the digestive resources to digest or assimilate the very nutrients we take. That's where homeopathy stands alone. It can help with that. So the two go hand in glove. We need nutrition to function. Let food be thy medicine. I often say if you don't treat your food as your medicine, you'll have to treat your medicine as your food. Think about that one. If you don't treat your food as your medicine, you'll end up having to treat your medicine as your food. You'll be sitting there eating pills all day long. Please don't get to that stage. So this is health maintenance, not health, it's disease prevention with good health maintenance. Ellen has a wonderful phrase, happy people don't get sick. So when someone's sick, you think, where in your life has this happiness gone? It could be by a trauma or a toxicity, not just a thought. But we do say we have to be mindful of our poisonous thoughts because then our thoughts will poison us. Very simple. Can you please provide a very general example of case taken based on causation? Okay, very general example. I'll give you my own. I'm sulfur, if you want to go by general. That means I'm very, very hot. I wear thin shirts. I get ravenously hungry at 11. I don't do early breakfasts, okay? But I lost my mom 6.5 years ago. Giving me sulfur for my constitution because I'm a philosophical, hot-blooded male is not going to help me with the grief of the death of a loved one. So my causation is ailments from death of loved ones, ailments from grief. So if I rep for that, it will give me certain remedies. It will not give me sulfur. If I had symptoms, I didn't even have a symptom. So if I come to you and said I don't have, or if I came to you and said I've got a stomach upset, you might treat me for remedy for my stomach. But if you say what happened, well, I've had it for 6.5 years. What happened 6.5 years ago? My mom died. Right, Som, you are doing grief. You can't stomach the fact that your mom died. It's making you sick to your stomach. So the cause is here and it's manifesting here. So what we say is the issue is not in the tissue, but your tissue is manifesting your issue. Ellen could have grief in her life. It might manifest in eczema for her. So I'm not treating her eczema. So in that instance, we might have the same remedy for grief, even though our symptoms are different. So you always go back to root cause. Treat the cause, and the effect will go. Why? Because we're aligning the natural healing force of the body. Symptoms are not a healing force. It's where the healing force has gone wrong. We just traveled 4 hours in a car. If the indicator on the dashboard says fill your fuel, I don't take the indicator bulb and throw it out. I go to a gas station and fill the fuel tank. The indicator is flashing, the cause is elsewhere. So if you learn nothing else from today, don't chase symptoms. Please don't chase remedies. And if you don't know how to take the course, find a homeopath that does root cause homeopathy, wherever they are. If they say I do symptom similarity, they're not your person. They're doing band-aid on a wound. You lift it off and it comes back. And people say, I took it when I stopped, it came back. Of course it did. They didn't get to the course. Of course it did. Hopefully that answers that question. Do you use materia medicas and repertories? Of course we do. These are the tools of a homeopath. Wondering what you study if books are considered outdated. All right. Every book is considered outdated the minute it's gone to print, which is why they have revised editions. But now let's add some context to that, okay? Your repertory tells you a rubric and you line it up, but one rubric does not a remedy make. If I've had a lot of things happening in my life, say if my business partner defrauded me, no offense, Anne. Say if my girlfriend or my wife divorced me, then my mom passed away, then my dog died, then I had some other bad news, then I got bankrupt. I got a cascade of different emotions. I put all of these down, anyone from grief, betrayal, deception, disappointed love. That will highlight the remedy I need. That remedy will highlight two or three. Sometimes I'll get two or three equally weighted based on the rubrics. Then I go into my materia medica and I differentiate which one is most suited to me. So we don't just do what the symptom people do, the highest scoring remedy. They call that totality mentality. What ticks all the boxes? We're not box tickers. What fits my client, my patient? What is the most close related? It doesn't have to tick every box either. Why? Because the vital forces, of course, put it back on track and it will do the rest. All we're doing is giving a nudge to the vital force to get back on track. We're not taking this for the ear, that for the stomach, that for the that for that. That is just allopathic mindset with a homeopathic remedy. Don't do that. Amateurs do that. Professionals take cases. Okay? Amateurs will do short courses. I learned a basic course. Good. I don't want to trust my family's life in the hands of someone with basic case taking skills. It's like saying I went on a first aid course. Good, tie a bandage on, but then let the real doctors take over. So please, if you're looking at homeopathy, make sure the homeopaths you talk to are qualified and do more than just the classical. If they say I'll give you one remedy, come back in a month, that doesn't work, especially in the USA. Every day, every state has a warning, an environmental warning, a toxicity warning, etc. You're bombarded daily. That doesn't make you fearful. It should make you empowered to say, I know I have things that can help me stay well. Not get rid of them. I have things that can help me stay well, regardless of what's happening in me, around me, and without me. Hopefully that makes sense.
Tom, we've got another question.
Okay.
We got another question here. You mentioned how the oral contraceptive can affect lineage. Have you ever treated young girls with menstrual issues, detox the contraceptive, even if it was their mother who took the control, who took the birth control and not the child? Yes, we do all of this.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if you want someone to have you, the simple answer is yes. We do it pretty much
Yes.
all the time. But I'm going to add that, like they're playing poker, I'm going to add it and raise it one. So what I'm going to say is, you don't just detox a child, a girl that's giving birth from a mother with the pill. You also detox the boy. Why? Because other than an X or a Y, the chromosomes are exactly the same. And until the baby's born, you don't know what it's going to be, unless you have your ultrasounds, which add more trauma. But you don't know. So you detox boys, because we get that asked a lot. Oh, I took the pill, I had a son. Do I need to detox him? Did you create him? Yes. Then you do. Does that make sense? If you are pregnant and you start drinking alcohol, everybody knows that can cause fetal alcohol syndrome. It doesn't say it causes it only in boys or only in girls. It can cause it in anything that you're carrying. So yes, you have to detox boys and girls, simply put, but we're adding it. Is a CPH license from the UK acceptable in the US? Yes. More acceptable in some states than others, but there are many, many ways around that. You saw our map. We have pretty much, other than 3 or 4 states, we have homeopaths with CPH in every state practicing. So if you want guidance in your own state, we can hook you up with a local homeopath. Send us an email. We'll connect you that way. You have some which are called health freedom states, and your government's in flux every couple of months, and that changes. You have other places where you can practice, but you cannot make certain claims. Your own laws will tell you. You cannot call them patients here, you call them clients. You cannot use the word treat, and you cannot use clinical words that doctors use, such as cancer or diabetes or hypertension. So what you can turn around and say, if you have issues controlling your blood sugar, maybe we can help you with support. That covers you in your own way. How do I know that? Because I spoke to people in other organizations within America, and they said we can call ourselves homeopathic consultants, but not doctors. Now, in England, a consultant is a specialist in a hospital. So different countries, different wordings. But talk to us offline with that, and we will guide you in the state that's relevant for you. Our our licenses, our qualifications are used in over 150 current countries currently. So it's a pretty good qualification to have. England does lead the world in homeopathy.
Homeopathy.
That's just a
Yeah.
fact. That's indisputable. The Society of Homeopaths is the largest society in the world for homeopaths, and that's also based in England. So that tells us a lot. So people covet and aspire for an English homeopathic qualification. And if you ever come to England, you'll see that our English homeopaths are fearless. We love coming to America because you're very open-hearted, you're keen to learn, and we love that. But you have a lot of fear here, a lot of do's and don'ts, and that's a good start. In fact, the theme of the next 3 days here is fearless. That's the theme of this meeting. When you let go of fear, you open your mind to all the possibilities that are existing.
Oops. What happened?
Can you hear me? Or have I gone?
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me. You know, we teach you to think outside the box. And when you're fearless, there are all kinds of possibilities waiting for you. In the States, it really depends on what state you're on in terms of what you can and can't treat. So getting clear about the language that your country or state allows, because it is basically language that impacts how you are as a practitioner. So yes, the CPH license is accepted all around the world. And the Society of Homeopaths is valued as an association around the world. Any other questions around that?
Sorry, I got kicked out again. What was the question on the society?
It was, I was just saying that uh, the Society of Homeopath is one of the leading bodies around the world.
It is the leading body around the world.
Okay, it's the leading homeopathic body around the world. So getting a licentiate from CPH means you can join, whether you're in the States, Australia, you can join the Society of Homeopaths.
Can I just add, it does help you that I myself, I sit on the board of directors at the Society of Homeopaths. So we're privileged that way to help shape the direction of homeopathic development globally. So we're very honored to be able to offer that to not only our homeopaths, but anybody who's registered with the society. And they are going to bring more resources to the US or to North America for everybody. Hopefully that answers that question.
Mary says here, can you please provide a very general example of case taking based on causation and not symptoms?
We did that earlier, Ellen, when I talked about my
Yeah.
mum and the grief. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Done.
Any other questions? No?
No, I think that's it.
Shall we let people go for now? Let me
Yeah.
stop the recording first. Okay.